Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Ron. We're veteran game designers who worked on the Dungeon Crawler Carl RPG.
We named this podcast after the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook because we tell you how the game works and how to make the game work for you.
And now, on to the episode.
All right, we are back for episode 10 of Dungeon Anarchist. Ron, you have to say something now.
I do. I want to mention that I am an employee of Wizards of the Coast, and the opinions I express here are mine and not theirs.
Ooh.
Thank you for opening up the space for that disclaimer of mine. What are we talking about today, John?
Well, before we go anywhere, how come you're twinsing with me?
Oh, it's because we got these awesome shirts that we have. Let me show off the back of mine. We got Samantha on the sleeve, the Renegade Studio logo, and then on the back, can you see that? Is my chair low enough?
Yes, it says Launch Crew 2026. It has a picture of Carl stomping on, what was he stomping on? Those gerbils? Something like that?
Any number of things Carl stomps on. That's what he's all about, is stomping stuff.
Yeah, so Saturday, it just showed up in the mail, and some package coming from Renegade in Florida, which is like their official headquarters, I guess, or something. And I'm like, I wonder what this is for. Is it because we're backers? Is it because...
Well, and I asked you, I'm like, it cannot have been fulfilled this fast. That's not right. And you're like, no, it's definitely not that.
Yeah, so... and then I saw when I kind of posted pictures online, and Owen Casey Stevens got one as well. I'm thinking,
oh, that's awesome.
And I hadn't talked to you yet. So I was like, oh, now I know what these are for. So,
well, I also want to say, if I haven't mentioned already, the "You Will Not Break Me" line. One of our good friends, the one who actually got me and you into Dungeon Crawler Carl, our friend Mark. A friend of his made a custom license plate frame that says "You Will Not Break Me," and I'm jealous. Custom license plate frame that's got a Dungeon Crawler Carl quote. That's fun.
Well, let me tell you, I ordered for I have a new camper van, right? You know this,
right?
My new camper van, his name is Carl, because my work for Dungeon Crawler Carl is buying me a camper van, basically. That's what I told my wife. And so, I'm a veteran, Coast Guard veteran, so I'm getting Coast Guard plates for it. And my Coast Guard plate is going to be DC Carl. And I want to get a custom license plate holder on there. And I haven't figured out what to have on it yet. So,
I mean, at some point you have to stop, or you'll be like one of those vans that has the big wizard painted on the side, except it's like Bianca or the Prepotente or something like that on the side.
I'll get a wrap. Maybe I can get somebody to sponsor me to wrap my van or something and drive it all the way to Gen Con. No, I don't want to drive all the way to Gen Con.
That'd be great. Everything from like to the lowest 2 feet of your all the way around is like the Boxer Hearts logo.
Let me. You know what? So I went to one of our staffing meetings for Gen Con for the stuff I'm doing. They said you got to make sure you bring a water bottle, refillable water bottle to drink enough. And I happen to have a very special one right here.
It's red with the heart boxers.
Yes. So I'm going to get some stickers to put on that as well. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited for all things Carl. And my wife is humoring me quite well. So I think I married.
That's nice. That's very nice. You married. Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
We have. Right. I'm not going full naming vehicles after Dungeon Crawler Carl yet. I haven't yet put my wife to the test there, but I suspect she'd probably be pretty supportive. But I don't want to have to find out. Well, you go, man. With
well, it's been like all consuming for me lately. Like I was telling you when we got here, I'm working 30 hours a week for him on Carl stuff. And here it is, Wednesday, I'm already at 27 hours, and I'm going to work more tonight. So it's like, I need more hours. I got more to do. I don't know.
Well, I mean, love what you do, and you'll never work
Yeah.
another day in your life, they say. And since I'm
That
now putting in 0 hours on Carl, then you've got to pick up some of my slack.
it's hard, man. It's big shoes to fill, right? Shoot. All right. Well, enough of this glad handing. What are we talking about today, Ron?
Skills. Let's do skills.
Skills.
Tell us about
Yes,
skills,
yes.
John.
All right. So we can't show you any PDFs yet. I'm hoping in the next month or so we can start doing that. But we can't do that. But we can talk about skills, and we can talk about the rank 5, 10, and 15 upgrades to those skills. So
yeah, and if you were listening last time, one of the things that I mentioned that I thought really distinguishes this game in a really fun way is that as your ranks in your skill improve, you get automatic bonuses, automatic boosts to your skill usage when you hit ranks 5, 10, and 15 without having to invest feats or extra points or choices into them. They happen automatically as your skill goes up. And we're talking about that more in detail today.
Right. So first, some general things. If we look at the number of skills that we have in the core book, excluding the spells, because those are technically like spell skills, there's about 115 of those straight skills. 15 are for melee weapons. 7 are damage effects. A lot of those are for unarmed combat and things like that. 7 are ranged weapon skills. 4 are for reach weapon skills, and we'll talk about one today. And then 81 are utility skills. And so that's what's already been created ahead of time. Some of those we've seen kind of the initial versions in the starter set, but now there's a whole boatload of more of them and the upgrades. But wait, there's more.
There is more. The rules are going to talk about ways to make your own skills. We see this a lot in the books. There's a lot of kind of arbitrary skills that are out there that might do very niche, narrow things. There's advice in the game for making your own skills, how you would not only create what they do, but how you design what they do at ranks 5, 10, and 15, with the advice about what are skills that are kind of like those, the one that you're making up, that you might make it look like. How you can lean to more powerful choices at 5, 10, and 15 if the skill is particularly narrow. So you can take something that is an example that isn't in there, but gosh, boy, should be, is conlanging. I looked up the weirdo words they have, the things that come up. I'm like, there's got to be some weirdo hobby that I could come up with that's like the patch collecting or whatever. Conlanging. I found this word. This is people who enjoy making up their own languages. J.R.R. Tolkien did a ton of this, right? But people who sort of invent their own languages for their fandoms or fandoms for things or whatever. Conlanging is what they're doing, and maybe that's a skill. Maybe that's a skill that helps you and your allies communicate secretly, or helps you understand things, writing or language that you hear because you've got a deeper understanding of language. Just an example off the top of your head, using the ideas that they have about creating your own skills.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, last night at our playtest gaming session, we had created characters using the kind of the original rule set that we had in playtest for upgrading characters to for the third floor, and that included a whole bunch of skills which did not end up in the core rulebook that you could have choices from as kind of your initial skills that you got, and maybe as you leveled up and things like that. And so because we didn't have those, we kind of made them up, looking at similar skills and saying, well, how would showmanship, that was one of the skills, right? So
Mm-hmm.
How would showmanship be similar to performance, but in what areas would it diverge from that? And is it a specialized version? If so, how might it be a little more powerful for, say, rank 5 and 10 in a way that's different than performance? And so we did that for kind of a handful of skills as well.
Yeah, the advantage we had when we were playing this last night, I noticed that because we're sort of limited to roughly 8 or 9 ranks in a skill, you didn't have to tell us what ranks 10 and 15 do just yet. We can figure that out when we get there. But rank
Right.
5, that was within reach, so I had to have an answer for what does this do at rank 5.
Right. Yep. Yep. All right. Well, let's get to our top choices for skills here in the Dungeon Crawler Carl RPG. And the first thing I'll say is these are ordered alphabetically, so there's no. It's
Yeah.
not a true numeric ranking of this is absolutely the best. But we did pick 5 each that we thought were pretty cool, so we'll give you a top 10, and then we each chose 2 honorable mentions. And I think mostly we picked them for ones that we thought it would be interesting to share what the higher level upgrades would be, or maybe it's something the players haven't seen yet. We want to kind of showcase that a little bit. And I will ask Ron first to go through his top 5 and honorable mentions, and then I'll do the same.
I'll do it. All right. Mine in order, alphabetical order. I'm going to start with Catcher. Catcher is a passive skill that you use as an interrupt when you have an ally that is about to take some damage and you want to jump in the way. Maybe the ally tried to evade but failed the evade check or didn't attempt to evade at all, and otherwise they're taking more damage than they can comfortably handle, and you might be able to comfortably handle it. So Catcher as a skill lets you take the damage. You can't evade to get out of it yourself. You're willingly taking the damage. And as you go up at rank 5, you get plus 5 damage resistance when you use the skill. So you're going to take less damage from it when you're at rank 5. That is, at that level of play, that's enough to drop 1 or 2 boxes of damage off of what you might take, and maybe more than that for what your ally could take. That's pretty good. At rank 10, you get an extra plus 5 DR. At rank 15, you get an extra plus 5 DR, total of plus 15, and you ignore any debuffs that happen to that damage. So a lot of times damage is bad, but the debuffs can be really worse, and rank 15 of Catcher is going to help you take that away, keep an ally from suffering that.
Yeah, so one point on that. So the way a lot of mob and boss effects work is that it'll say any hit crawler gets this debuff, right? Mm-hmm. And so even though the earlier ranks here take away the damage, because you're hit, because you willingly put yourself in the way, you get the beat, you take that debuff. This rank 15 ability makes it very, very powerful. You pretty much will ignore an awful lot of damage at that point, and all the debuffs.
Yep. Great. And once you've invested in that. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but when we put together our kind of solo character, RJ, RJ had the Catcher skill, and I'm only now realizing to catch what? For whom he did a fight by himself. Anyway, a smarter choice might have been my next choice, which is Dodge. Now, dodging isn't evading. Evading is when you make the choice to get out of the way of enemy attacks. But what Dodge does is it's a skill that it gives you +1 to your evade. As you evade things, because you're not making a dodge check, it helps your evade. You're evading. As you successfully evade, you mark your improvements to the dodge skill that way, but only up to rank 5. Once you get up to rank 5, you get an additional +1 to evade, and you can step 5 feet further when you do so. So a little more mobility, a little more benefit to evade. But once you're at rank 5, the only way you can improve your dodge skill is by magical bonuses or training. There are some skills that are just sort of locked. You can't be putting sort of casual bonuses into them. You can't improve them as you use them. The only way to make them better is magical abilities or training, and dodge is a skill like that. At rank 10, you get an additional +2 to evade, and you roll your evade with advantage against spells and ranged attacks. If something's got a ways to come into you, you've got advantage. You can evade it because you've got maybe a little bit little bit more foreknowledge. But rank 15 is where this thing really shines. You get an extra +2 to evade, and you can evade without spending one of your actions in combat, which means it's kind of a no-brainer to do all the time in order to keep out of the way of attacks.
So Ron mentioned something interesting about how you would increase in this, your skill level in this. Also, both of these skills that you chose, catcher and dodge, are passive skills, which means you can't try these things untrained. The only way you learn them is either A, you have a class or skill ability, a class or race ability that gives you these, right? Or you get a skill potion or some other item bonus that gives you this ability. You can't try it untrained to try to just learn it.
Yep, absolutely. Now, my third choice, light on your feet. The light on your feet skill is actually a skill that you would roll. It's a check that you make. It is. Let me tell you a little good news and a little bad news. The good news is you can get at least as long as you get a little bit of a running start. You leap up to your double your rank in distance and height equal to double your dex modifier, which is great. It makes you really jumpy, but it can only be taken by animals. We see Princess Donut using this in the books because animals are the only ones who get to take it. You triple your rank and your dexterity for how far you're able to jump when you get to rank 5. At rank 10, you don't have to jump in an arc, so you can basically just jump straight up. And because you're still doing it, your rank times 3, basically you're jumping straight up 30 feet. And at rank 15, your leap can last up to your rank in seconds, 15 seconds at least, as soon as you get it, which means you get a glide from your jump straight up and sort of soar in one direction or another. You're not aloft for very long, but that can be pretty tactically useful. My next one is tactics. Now this is a pretty cool ability that I have that my playtest character has, but has not had an awful lot of ability to use just yet. Frankly, you get 2 actions in combat, and you end up pretty tight on what it is you want to be doing when the mobs come knocking. It's an intelligence skill. You only get to try once per combat. You pick either attack, damage, or evade, and then you basically talk to your allies about it as an action. On a success, you give everybody a +1 bonus to checks for the thing that you picked for the combat. That gives everybody either more likely to hit, better damage, better evade, and that +1 increases for every degree of success that you get. We talked last time about succeeding by a lot or rolling a natural 20 or both. Can make this a pretty big benefit that you're able to give to people. At rank 5, if you're able to observe foes in the battlefield for at least 5 minutes before combat, you get to make that check with advantage. You might have some good good incentive to do so. There are other skills that are aided if you're able to look for things for at least 5 rounds. Class abilities and the like also want you to sort of take a stealth, you sneak up and observe things for a little while. At rank 10, once you've used that skill, you can do when you take the call a play action, you roll 2, instead of rolling 1d10, you roll 2d10 and pick the die that you want to use for calling a play. And at rank 15, you no longer pick attacks, damage, or evade. If you succeed, it applies to all 3 of them in the combat. Great feature.
Oh, yeah.
The last that I have before getting to my honorable mentions, I wanted to make sure to get in an attack skill, and this is RJ's attack skill is with the Warhammer that he uses, the sledgehammer. The Warhammer attack skill is a strength roll, as you might expect. You have to take 2 hands to use it, and it does 1d10 plus strength bludgeoning damage. Now, if I told you that you were going to do a swing a Warhammer and do 1d10 plus your strength and damage, you wouldn't know what game I was talking about. There are a ton of role-playing games where that's the default. In this one, though, and this is very typical of weapon attacks, sort of basic weapon attacks, when you get to rank 5, you add another d10 of damage, and then you're going to add another d10 of damage at rank 10, and again at rank 15. Also at rank 15, if the target you have is your size or smaller, you can push it back 15 feet. So not only is it extra damage, but you get real shovey with it as well once you get up to rank 15. I've got a couple of honorable mentions that I like. Another one of these is Axe, and I will say I couldn't pick between Warhammer and Axe, so I just threw one of them into honorable mention. It is, again, a melee attack skill. It, again, uses strength. Does not use 2 hands, so it does a little less damage. 1d6 plus strength slashing damage. It's got, at rank 5, it adds another die for plus 1d6 to the damage. Then it gets a little bit tricky. At rank 10, it's an additional 1d6, 3d6 total. And you can make an extra free attack with disadvantage against another foe adjacent to both you and the target to reflect the kind of cleave. Yep. And at rank 15, it's an extra d6. You're up to 4d6 at that point. And if the target is using a shield, you can elect to not roll the damage at all and simply destroy your target's shield. You might have party members who are a little appalled that you would destroy loot so casually, but sometimes you might need to get past a shield. Finally, I want to talk about throwing. The throwing skill is used for throwing any old thing. It's used for throwing dynamite, throwing rocks. Now, we're pretty savvy playtesters, and we know that if you use a skill that you don't have or you're not very good at, it's going to be easy at the end of your 2-hour session to improve it. So when we were given the opportunity last night to purchase sticks of dynamite at a low price we could easily afford, I'm like, well, I'm going to buy like 4 of them. And as soon as we got out of town, I'm like, hey, I'm going to throw one of those sticks of dynamite. I'm going to light it and throw it. And then I'm going to light and throw another one just to make sure that I've used it and had the ability to improve my throwing. One of our other players, Tim, is like, well, I don't have any throwing. I'm like, but if you try it, you'll be able to get throwing. My character lights a stick of dynamite, and I thrust it in his hand and say, go. He threw it. He did all right. It did not blow up in his hand, and he got himself one nice shiny rank of throwing with it. So I thought that everybody else in the party should do that. And Felice looked at me and said, I can do the same just by throwing rocks. I'm like, that is true, and I had not even considered that, actually. But anything you want to throw, that's all throwing.
You forgot part of that story, Ron.
When
you went to throw, you failed and it blew up in your hand.
That's true. That's true. But you know what? That's what they make heal spells for, and it was just fine. I'd come through the previous combat pretty much on, less scathed than some of my allies, so I felt like it was the least I deserved. I could handle that. When you're throwing, one of the things that I wanted to point out with this skill is you either throw, and a lot of games will do this, so it's interesting to me how throwing stuff works in any game. Like you might expect, if you're trying to throw at a spot, it is an unopposed skill check. If you're trying to throw something at a person, throw a javelin or something at them, then you're rolling, then they can evade just like normal because it's an attack against them. It's an attack check. If you fail, and this is kind of fun because I've seen this little chart in a lot of role-playing games, you've probably seen it too. Which direction does the thing you accidentally threw badly go? Well, you roll 1d8. Did you overshoot or a little to the right or directly to the right or so on? 1d8 around the clock face, kind of, to figure out whether you accidentally threw it a little too close to you, or maybe threw it someplace that could be even better for you, or even worse for your allies, or whatever. And I bring this up because rank 5 has the really amusing benefit of you make your throwing check with advantage when you are throwing something to a target that wants to catch it. It is easier for you to throw a football or I don't know, an unlit stick of dynamite that they want to light and stuff into something. At rank 10, you don't have to roll that. You can put that D8 down because you pick the direction that the thrown thing goes on a miss instead of rolling. And at the rank 15, you can just throw an awful lot further. Normally, it's at your strength times 10 feet. When you get to rank 15, strength times 20 feet. And if you're like, well, hey, Ron, a lot of these things have had really remarkable increases at rank 15. Let me tell you, by the time you're rank 15, your strength is phenomenal.
So is STR is strength mod. So just be mindful of that.
Strength mod. That's right.
Yeah, right.
But your strength mod is going to be a whole lot better than it was when you picked up the throwing skill because your ally thrust a lit stick of dynamite in your hand and expected you to do something about it. And that was the first time you learned to throw a thing.
Yes. No, for sure. Well, I'm going to do my top 5 in honorable mention. Before I go there, one of the things I want to say is that Ron and I did not create all of these skills. Matt Hyra, who is the lead designer for Renegade Game Studios on the Carl RPG, did. But Ron and I were both in the finalization stages for this. So going through skill by skill, what the base, the rank 5, rank 10, rank 15 aspects, mostly the higher level upgrades are to all these skills. So this is something we get a chance to have a hand in. So if it's really, really cool, that was us. If you don't like it, that was all Matt. So that's all.
or quite the opposite. And when I say, when I just said, I was actually mimicking conversation, not about throwing, but something different. Yeah. When I'm like, oh, throwing only doubling the range to strength times 20, that doesn't seem like a big increase. I mentioned something like that seemed not very big. And Matt was the one, because he knows these rules all very well. He's really good at this, was the one to explain, but the position a character is in by the time they have this makes it much better than you'd think. We can't make it strength times 30 or 40 or by then it'll be much too good because the way the game is built is going to make it good at the time that you get it. Oh, that is really insightful about how a lot of these rules interact. Really shows Matt Hyra's expertise.
Yes. All right. So again, my top 5, and I'm going alphabetical here, and I'll start with the A's. Aiming. This is a passive skill. So again, something that you either have to have a race or class ability that gives it to you, or you get it through some other means like a skill potion, something like that. All right. So for aiming, this has to be used with ranged attacks. The nice thing about aiming, though, is it allows you to do additional damage on ranged attacks independent of your rank and ability with those. So the base part, basically, it allows you to use this skill to target kind of a vital part of whatever you're targeting, an organ or something, to do additional damage. So you add your ranks in this skill to your attack skill, right, when you're making the ranged attack. So you hit it more easily, and then on success, you add a D4. So it's not a huge amount of additional damage, but the fact that you more readily can hit gives you a higher opportunity to get a major success or a critical, major success on that. All right. Rank 5, you get a plus another D4 damage on that. Rank 10, another D4. Rank 15, another D4. So this is a way, if you have like a really low damage weapon, but you're at rank 15 with this, so say you're using something like a slingshot that gives you like a lot of AI advantage, but doesn't do a lot of additional damage by itself. Here you can add another 4d4 on top of your damage for that. So it's one way to boost it up.
Well, let me jump in and just say, from having seen a lot of different games, often aiming is either an action that everybody can take in combat, try to improve, or maybe something you do. But the fact that this is passive, it doesn't take one of your actions to do, but you investing in this skill is going to make your other ranged attacks better, is a way to sort of kind of double dip if you're going to be a ranged combat user in a way that is actually really satisfying.
Mm-hmm. And I would say if you're investing in aiming, then you're probably also really specializing in ranged attacks too, kind of thing. So, all right, my number 2 is cat-like reflexes. So this is a dexterity-based skill. Similar to what Ron had said, this is a racial skill, though. Not only can only animals do it, but only cats can do it. And this is something we kind of have to have in the game for somebody who wants to play Donut. All right. So, cat-like, the base on this, you gain plus 10 move. Use a skill check when you make a dexterity stat check instead, because typically your skill ranks are going to be higher than your stat modifiers. So this is something that already gives you a bump up. All right, at rank 5, you reduce the damage you take from a foe's surprise attack against you by your rank in this skill. You just managed to get out of the way. This gives you a pseudo DR because you're so fast. At rank 10, reduce all area effect damage you take by 50%. Again, you're so quick, you're reducing damage on that. Rank 15, add another plus 10 to your move. You gain a plus 1 to your evade, and you roll with advantage to evade attacks and effects that would apply the held debuff. You just don't want to be grabbed, so you're really good at getting away. So if you're going to be playing a cat, this is a no-brainer, honestly. All right. So my number 3, good first impression. And this is something that one of our players used last night, which I thought was kind of fun. So it's charisma-based. Now, there's a couple limitations with this. It only works on mobs. It doesn't work on crawlers or bosses or elites.
Or
when
groups.
you use it, or groups of them initially.
Yeah.
Yes. So individual mob. So when you encounter an NPC or mob, so it does work on NPCs, that is not already hostile to you or attacking, you make an interposed skill check, and on success, they approach you warily, but with curiosity. They're not instantly trying to attack you. Now, at rank 5, a mob that is lower level than you won't attack your party unless they are attacked by your party, which I think means you can really insult them a lot if you want, but I don't know. Rank 10, a mob that is up to double your level won't attack your party unless they are attacked by you or an ally. Think about this. Then if you are rank 125, I'm sorry, if you are level 125 at rank 10, then a deity you encounter who's level 250 won't attack your party if you've succeeded with your good first impression, which is, that's a pretty
good first
thing.
impression. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to see that for a while, but I'm thinking down the road here, right? And then at rank 15, a group of mobs of the same type up to double your level won't attack you. So in this case, you can affect multiple. So that becomes a pretty powerful thing. All right. Number 4, shield block. Okay. So this is a strength-based skill, and you're required to have a shield. Okay. The base ability can't be used against area of effect damage. Only damage is targeted to you specifically. All right. When you use this skill, you take half damage from the attack. So this is similar to evade in that it enables you to kind of get out of some damage, or I guess probably more similar to some DR, but it's another thing that you can stack if you're a sword and boards fighter and you want to basically be able to tank damage. Now, at rank 5, relatively low, you can use this skill against spell and magical damage. So not just attacks direct at you. At rank 10, on a critical hit, you can make a shield. So for you, right, a critical success. So I got to back up a little bit. When we roll a natural 20 on a skill, this game calls it a critical hit, even if you're not attacking. So
right.
That's just the language that has been adopted. And so when I'm saying this is if I've had a critical success, a critical hit, I've rolled a natural 20, I can make a shield bash attack as a free melee ranged interrupt attack, and deal 3d6 damage plus my strength modifier against the attacker. Again, this is a 5-foot attack, but they attacked me, I blocked it, I can hit them for free.
Free attack.
Yep. Rank 15, you add 1d6 to your base damage, and you reduce the damage that you would take further by your strength mod. Again, at rank 15, your strength mod's probably going to be somewhere around 7 or 8. So on top of cutting it in half, on top of your DR, you take off the amount equal to your strength mod. Oh, and then you see how that applies to your health bar slots. So this at rank 15 makes you very, very tanky.
Yeah.
But you have to have a shield, and we've learned that axes can destroy shields. So you got to be careful.
And very in the hands of exceptionally skilled axe wielders, yes.
Yes. All right. My number 5 is Taunt. Now, this is a charisma-based interrupt with a shout. This is the base level. You say some choice words, maybe make an obscene gesture to draw the attention and ire of enemies within 30 feet of you. After seeing where the mobs decide that they want to attack, you make an interpose skill check. Okay. If you're successful, you taunt one attack away from where it was going to go onto you. Okay. If you have a higher degree of success, you can bring another. And finally, if you have a critical hit on that, you could bring even another attack to you. I will say this might be really good if you got that shield thing, if you decided to take all these attacks,
yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, at rank 5, you can make a free evade check against each taunt roll. This is separate from the one you would normally make, right? Then you can still
free means you don't have to make the evade. You can evade for free and still use both of your actions.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you could still spend an action to try to evade, right? And when you do, you re-roll. One of the things to say is on that free evade roll that you made, you get to re-roll any fails at rank 5. That's pretty powerful. All right. At rank 10, you can affect mobs double the distance, so 60 feet away. At rank 15, your free evade checks against taunted attacks are made with advantage. So if you bring all these people to you, which at rank 15, you'll be able to do that, you'll be pretty buff, and you have advantage on free evades, which you get to re-roll when you fail. So this is like a pretty powerful way to draw attention away from those that want to go, as we like to say, gank the mage when you see a soft, squishy caster back there, right? All right, I have 2 honorable mentions. And again, these are alphabetical. The first one is Dagger, and I like Dagger a lot as an attack skill. First of all, it gives you AI favor 1, which is okay. It doesn't do a lot of damage. The base damage is 1d4 plus strength piercing. Now, what I really like is what happens at rank 5. Okay, at rank 5, you get an additional D4 base damage. Not a big deal, but this is armor piercing. So if you go against a mob that's got a ton of DR, this ignores all of that. Now, there's a sad story I'm going to have to tell you. There is a DR mod that you can get that basically toughens it against armor piercing. So, yeah. So when you're thinking that 20 DR boss that you're going to just cut to ribbons, well, chances are they got some of that too. All right. At rank 10, you add an additional D4 to the base damage, and you can throw this weapon up to your rank. In this case, it's already 10 times 5 feet. You can throw your dagger 50 feet. Now, I'm going to say that either have multiple daggers or somehow get that a way for it to come back, because otherwise you're going to run 50 feet to pick it up. Kind of a bummer. All right, rank 15. You add additional D4 base damage, and you can attack targets in their back and deal double damage. You can basically backstab with it.
Classic first edition rogue.
Yeah. So, again, a dagger seems like a relatively weak weapon, but in the hands of an experienced user, very deadly, very deadly. As we found out in our game, when our fishmonger critted the boss and took him down like gobs of bars. It was like crazy.
So much really good at dagger.
Yeah, the AI had to step in and say, "Oh, we need to make some changes." All right. And my last honorable mention is the lance. And Ron, you still haven't read book 8?
No, and every time you mention a lance, you ask me that question, which tells me that a lance is pretty significant in book 8 somewhere. No spoilers. No spoilers.
There are no spoilers. No spoilers on that. The lance comes, it's not pretty significant in there. There is a significant moment with it.
Okay.
So in general, it's not, but it's pretty cool. All right. So the lance is a ranged attack, 10 feet. That's great. It's got a huge limitation though, right? You have to be mounted.
Melee attack, 10 feet. Melee attack on the range of 10 feet.
Yeah, it's a range. Yeah, it's a 10-foot range melee attack, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be mounted to use it. Right? You can't use it with attack of opportunity or zone of control attacks. Okay, fine. You can just damage, right? Base damage is 1d12 plus strength piercing. That's pretty good, right? All right. Rank 5 adds a d12. Not so interesting, but it's a lot of damage. Rank 10, add another d12 and plus 1 damage for every 10 feet of move that your mount moved this turn. So if you have a very, very speedy mount, this does a lot of additional damage. All right. Next, rank 15, another plus 12 damage, and plus an additional damage equal to the size of your mount. So if you have a very big, fast mount, you can do a whole lot of lance damage.
It's a horse's size 6, 5?
I think 5. So
okay.
That would give you a plus 5. Elephant would be like a plus 6, that kind of thing. Kaiju, plus 8. I don't think that you'd have to, not a big deal that. All right. So yeah, those are my plus 5, my 5 plus my 2 honorable mentions. So we gave our listeners here basically 10 plus 14 skills, rank 5, 10, and 15 upgrades. A lot of these, maybe we've seen a little bit in the starter set, but not all of them. And we have not seen the 10 and 15 ranks. One of the things I'll say is that it's really hard to get to 20 on things, right? The books talk about this all the time. I would imagine somewhere down the road in some future skill creation, we'll have to get to that range, but not today.
I mean, getting to 15 is mature enough for now, and as you've seen, really worth it for a lot of these skills.
Yes. Yeah, one of the things about that is once you can see what the skills do at higher ranks, probably players are going to say, "Oh man, like that lance, I really want to get me one of those mounts and just focus on lance and get that thing ranked up," right? So, because it'll take some specialization probably in order to get really good at things. When you get a plus skill potion or whatever, okay, I'm going to put it, or, say, hey, I really want to get this. And then the AI blesses you with some magic weapons that might boost it up as well.
Yep. Now, I do have to say that this is just touching on the skills with a lot of the attack skills and other skills. When John first asked, hey, what do you think your top 5 skills are? The ones you like the most and want to talk about, I included some spell skills because I love those. And he's like, no. John, you told me no. We'll talk about those at some other time. Pick different ones. And I did. but I'm eager to be talking about spell skills and what they do.
Yes. So next time we will go through spell skills. That's the plan.
All right, I got my first 2 already picked. The ones you told me I couldn't use today.
Okay. All right. No spoilers for next episode, though. All right. Well, I'm John.
And I'm Ron, and we are the Dungeon Anarchists.